Yeah, as I say, we just wait for this lot to come on and then.
I got look, that's my 10 German bombers scarf up there.
Oh, tremendous.
He made them. Yeah, look,
Did he?
I'll take it a bit closer. He had it designed. You see that?
Oh, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
So when did he get that done, Windy?
I don't know. He'll tell you about it, but I think it was there was one hanging up in the bar for a little while, but they took it down. I think a few people complained because of the German bombers thing and all that. But West.
Well, a German made it. So
exactly. Yeah.
And I knew that the Germans got a sense of humour.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Oh, quickly, John, show Andy the scarves that Robert got made up. Check this out, Andy.
Not half and half scarves, are they?
No. Don't. Oh.
Bearing in mind, this is made from the German fan club.
German fan club. Look.
You see that?
It's the 10 German bombers.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that reading backwards on there?
No, that reads fine.
No, that's all right.
He had 10 made for the 10 German bombers.
There's 10 of them, are there?
Yeah.
So does that mean they can't get any bigger?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. It's like my wall.
Hello, Robert.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
I'm a bit late.
Well, that's not very efficient. That's the first German gag out the way.
That's impressive. Calling 2 minutes late. That is.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, we've just John was just showing off that merch that you made, the 10 German bombers scarves. Very impressive.
I have them behind me. Look, it's I've built up a little shrine.
Oh, that is very good, yeah.
in his best hello German there.
That really was fantastic. Hair flick.
Well, it's great to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure, Robert. I mean,
it's probably the closest I get to the pilot field this season, due to the circumstances.
You're certainly closer to the pilot field than you are to showbiz coming on here. I'll tell you.
Oh. Right, I've had a long day, so a quick mouthful of beer and then we'll crack on.
Is it German beer?
Le Chef. Anyone know Le Chef?
Is that Belgian?
He was a Bond villain, wasn't he?
John, also that hair club for men's looking good.
Which John you talking to?
No.
Wills.
What is it?
Yes, you've got a bit more to it this week.
Yes, yeah, that's it. If you're someone that's of a good height, then you get a glare off the top, but or helicopters try and land on it.
I did think that on Saturday. I thought, he's looking like he's getting a little bit more of a luxuriant growth there.
See,
well, what it is, there's no such thing as male pattern baldness. I just comb mine from in my ears and up my nose.
Yeah.
Comb it over the top.
I have noticed that as it shrinks in one place, it grows in others. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Robert had that conversation last night, didn't he, Robert? About what you was going to shave.
Oh, I did have a good shave, like I promised. Look, only for the movies.
Yeah, there you go.
It's wonderful. Hey, Gina.
Hi.
Hello, my love.
Gina.
Yeah, right. Well, we've got all the celebrities here. Anyway, we have got lots of people on today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've got, obviously, we've got the wonderful...
Hey!
We've even got the Histed. Oh, this is too much. So we've got Flat White Andy, we've got Windy John, we've got Johhny Wills, we've obviously got the lovely Gina, we've got the awesome Gary Histed. Yeah,
You've got to stay in there.
you're going to stay. Right, we're going to come back to you. We've also got Daddy Stone. Hello, Malcolm.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Hello.
And we've got
Malcolm.
Brother Malcolm.
Hello.
And we've got Robert from the German wing of the Hastings United Supporters Club, and his 10 German bombers, German wing, I don't know where to start. We've got too many new people here. Right, so we'll start with Mr. Histed, and then we'll work through Malcolm, and then we'll get to Robert, because we've got a few things we want to ask him. So, Mr. Histed, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Gary, so how long have you been supporting Hastings, and what made you fall in love with it?
Quite a while. I've been supporting them, really. I just kept on coming there because my dad told me about them. That's what made me come all the time. I just fell in love from there, really. Just watching them every week.
That you do. You definitely watch them every week, Gary. And I must say, you were magnificent in that Mankini on Saturday.
It's a shame they wouldn't let me put it on properly, though, go across the pitch.
But the funniest memory in my mind is you making a strong point to that steward wearing a mankini. Excellent.
Well, an absolute pleasure coming on. And obviously, hello, Gina.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Gina.
Mr. Stone.
Hello.
It's a pleasure. So what is it like being the dad of Craig?
Oh, it's frustrating at times, but enjoyable. And yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, you're not going to dish any dirt on him, anything, any sort of embarrassing stuff or amusing.
Unfortunately, I don't know too much, but well, I might remember some as we go along. But
who do you usually follow? I mean, have you followed Craig around around clubs, or have you been coming to Hastings a while, Malcolm?
I've followed him around the clubs for predominantly following Craig. Yeah, and then when he come to Hastings. So, but I did follow Hastings a little bit before that with the like when Darren Hare was there, because obviously Darren Hare was in charge of Craig at Gillingham. Franny Collin, I knew when he was down there as well with Darren and that. So, yeah, I've always sort of followed Hastings a little bit, certainly since them days, but even more so, obviously, since Craig's been there.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he?
Yeah, he enjoys it, loves it. So,
certainly comes across that way, and obviously you bring the family as well. Robert.
Hi.
Hello. This is a long time in the making. Please fill us in on how a lovely German fell in love with Hastings United.
Well, it's more than 30 years ago now since my uncle Paul took me out the pilot field, and I didn't expect very much, but it was quite an experience. First of all, the amount and quality of swearing, it was I sucked it all up, you know, all the words. I didn't know them from English school books. So, and but what also struck me was the passion and the dedication that the people had for a non-league club, which wasn't very successful in those days. So that was really interesting to see, because I think that's quite different to many German non-league clubs. There are always like 50 or 100 or 150 people there, but not this amount of people, and not especially not in the winter, because there is a long winter break in Germany, you know. And so that's a big difference. Yeah, and ever since, whenever I was in Hastings and there was a game, I went there. I usually go there with John and other relatives of my Hastings family. My mum is from Hastings, so I have quite a lot of relatives there. And yeah, and that's my link to Hastings United.
Rob, which bit of Germany were you born in?
In Bonn, former capital. That's just south of Cologne.
Oh, okay. So what I'd love to know is, so you've got that bug, you've loved what you've seen, you've loved what you've heard. What made you think about starting a fan club for Hastings called 10 German Bombers?
Well, this name was, don't know what game it was, but I was standing on the stand, and they were starting to sing. There were 10 German bombers in the air, and it goes on for ages and ages, you know, and I quite liked the melody, so I sang along, and my Uncle John started laughing. So a bloke next to him said, what's all the funny stuff? And he said, well, he's actually from Germany. And that bloke said, he's a good sport then. So yeah, and a couple of years later, I thought, because I quite like Spurs as well, and I thought the only chance of getting a ticket to White Hart Lane was join the German supporters club of Tottenham Hotspurs. So I did, and I did 2 or 3 trips with a bus there, and so that on my way back, I thought, wouldn't it be cool to start a similar thing with Hastings, a small club where you can actually make a difference, you know. And yeah, that was the idea born. So the next time I went there, I was there with work. I'm a teacher, and we had a class trip to Hastings, and I went up to the pilot field. That was a Tuesday evening game, and I didn't know quite which bus stop to take. So I asked the bus driver, where do I have to get off the bus to get to the pilot field? And he couldn't tell me. He said, I don't know. So a bloke behind me, he said, I'm going there, so you can just come along with me. And so we walked towards the pilot field, and he asked me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Germany. And then I don't know what struck me, but I said, I'm from the German supporters club. So I went inside for a beer, and when I came out again, the music stopped, and the speaker said, and a very warm welcome to the German supporters club. That was just me, you know. So and there was this bloke on the bus. He was sitting on the stand, and he waved to me. He said, do you hear that? That was me. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Yeah, so the next thing I did was talk my friends into it. I told them all about it, and I ordered some scarves on the internet. One of them you see hanging up there, and yeah, and actually there are now 7-10 German bombers. And what keeps us together is supporting the local German club in Bonn, which is also non-league, and we usually go to home and away games. So
oh, nice,
excellent.
We'll have to twin. We'll have to twin with them. What's their names?
Bonner SC. They're playing the highest non-league level. That's 4th tier in Germany. Regional League West, it's called.
What sort of gates do you normally get, Rob? Roughly?
Well, far less than Hastings, actually. They're not doing very well. They're battling relegation. So if we get like 400 or 500, that's quite a lot. And we've had some COVID restrictions as well, but now we're restricted to 750, which is quite annoying for the Bundesliga clubs. But we can, you know, try and get a sellout crowd now.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Right, one more. I've got the questions up now, Wendy. Sorry.
Okay, mate.
Sorry, I apologise.
No, that's all right. Robert,
tell us that you've got a story to tell us about Chips and Ashford.
That must have been 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. And there was this one game playoff semi-final against Ashford, and I was on the phone to John 2 days before that. You know, we have a chat like once every 1 or 2 months, and he was talking about this game, and I was getting all excited, and I thought, I've got nothing better to do, so I might as well get on the car, get on the ferry and drive to Hastings and ring his doorbell and stand there in my gear and shout there were 10 German bombers in the end. You should have seen his face. That was really funny.
Oh, you should have seen me shut the door again.
Yeah, I could hear all the locks.
Yeah, click, click, click. Keep him out.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
Yeah, that was, and I hadn't eaten all day because I didn't have a lunch on the ferry because I thought I'll have something at the pilot field, a burger or stuff. But the
wonderful cuisine.
Yeah, the queue was very long, and so most of the second half I stood in the queue for chips, and they'd run out of chips. I think someone of them went to Tesco's to get some new chips. But as a matter of fact, I saw all the goals because the line was standing uphill, so I was able to see the pitch, and I didn't miss any of the goals, fortunately, because, you know, driving a long time just to queue for chips. But in the end, I got some.
Yeah, lucky to find one that hadn't been bombed in the war.
Oh, a bit of a Stan Boardman joke there. I'm not for that.
I'm going to ask quickly, as you've got this expectation of Hastings crowd being full of swearing and things, do you think we should change the song to "There Were 10 Fokker Wolves"?
That's up to you, you know.
Yeah,
you make the best of it. I don't know.
An absolute superb week. I mean, I was hoping to have a certain 4-goal hero on, but he's involved with training, so James Hull isn't here today. The only man who went, I think. I don't know. Actually,
I have a feeling. I think Gary went as well. Did you go, Gina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you go, Malcolm?
Oh, I didn't. No.
No, okay. Right, so we will hand over talk of this. Should we start? I'll tell you what, Gina and Gary, anything you want to, stuff you want to tell us from the game, that absolutely tremendous under-23 win?
Just that Hastings was all over him from the start. They should have won more than what they did. That's it, really. Just that they were all over him.
Yeah, some cracking goals.
Yeah.
Hang on, where's Gary gone? What's his take?
You don't want to know what he's doing.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
No, he's not squeezing into that.
He's going to get X-rated now. Gary, I tell you what, he's not in his Mankini, is he? There he is. He's in his Mankini. Yes. No, Gary. Any takes from the under-23 game? Anything?
Yeah,
it was a good game, really.
Oh, James Hull had a cracking game, didn't he?
I thought we took control from the off, to be honest.
Well, last week Jordan predicted 5-0, didn't he? So he won't be far off.
Yeah, he did say 5-0, only 5-1. Yeah. Right, and okay, I'll move on.
Well, I did see Jordan tearing up his betting slip after the game, actually.
That was because he betted on getting a red card instead of just a yellow.
Andy, unless you've got a Mankini, you're not topping Gary there. So please give me your thoughts.
I'm way past my Mankini days. It was fantastic. It was really, I don't know about. It was just one of those things that quite a few people there, good turnout, nice little ground. Although I was deeply irritated by the way the stand was set to one side, down one end. So the main stand's really weird there, with a clubhouse next to it for anyone who's been there. So, but it's a neat little ground, and they must have some noise abatement thing on them, because they had, I told you at the weekend, didn't I, Chris? They had the world's quietest PA, which was then, I realised then why everyone was gathered round the clubhouse, because
they could hear it.
Yeah. Those of you of a certain age, and it was like, I said to you that it was like Rob Brydon's Man in a Box impersonation was actually doing the announcements. So everyone had to fall completely silent to be able to hear the teams when they were announced. Wow. But very, very, very strange. It was a really nice new pitch. And I think the nicest thing was watching the way those lads played on that pitch was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we've seen examples. I think Ramsgate was an example where the first team were really grumpy playing Ramsgate on that pitch. But watching these lads on it, it was just unbelievable. The wingers, particularly Alfie Peacock and Freddie Legg, just absolutely sensational. I think their two fullbacks had to be unscrewed from the pitch at the end of the first half. It was literally.
Freddie Legg's pace is ridiculous.
But both of them, because Peacock way is I'm sort of an age where I don't really trust players who have their socks over their knees. For me, it's on Britney Spears it's great, but on a footballer, I'm not so sure. So, but he played. He absolutely murdered the fullback, and where we were stood, they were really carping the midfield. The ball was just bypassing them, and the fullbacks were just taking absolute hammering, and they were fantastic. And James had a fantastic game as well, and it's probably one of the best hours of football. I don't know about you, Gina and Gary. One of the best hours of football I've seen this year, and that's not an exaggeration. Jack Bates. We've seen him play before occasionally with the first team. He just moves. He's got that Wilshere Gascoigne sort of movement about him. You could criticise him and say he could release the ball a bit quicker sometimes, but my God, that really is nitpicking.
That all come, isn't it? That all come in time.
Oh God, I mean, they absolutely buried them. They buried them. What Gina said was right. They did, and it was just. To be fair, New Haven kept on going. They kept on going, and when things eased off a bit, they got their goal. So good for them, really. But yeah, it was fantastic, and the goals were superb. James's 4 goals were. When I watched the video, it occurred to me that they were a breakaway and through the keeper's legs. I think then there was the header from Alfie's cross. Then there was the tap in. Oh no, the penalty, and then the tap-in. So it was like a complete sort of centre-forward selection box of goals. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, they were really chuffed with themselves, and so they should be. And Andrew as well should be chuffed with what he's got out of those lads. It was like, well, you can tell though I'm talking, you know how grumpy I can be. And I was absolutely, really was just put a smile on your face.
Hats off to you getting there though, because there's a lot of fans there say, well, oh, they're going to go. You said you're going to go, yeah.
Yeah, that was so worth it. And I even tweeted. I'm very reluctant to use Twitter. I even tweeted about it. That's how enthused I was. So yeah, well done to them. Yeah. So, and I think it was what you could just see from James's face, the game he'd had, the week he's had. I mean, obviously we'll go on to the Ashford game, but what a week for him, and what a week the lads who played for the England team.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Honestly, yeah, and it made me. I'll tell you one thing it did do. It made me less stressed about the chances of a 3G pitch at the new football ground. Watching that lot play on it, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And I mean, incredible. I think back to when I was 20, and I just wouldn't have seen the ball.
How long ago was that again, Andy?
How long ago? 40 years ago. Don't be fooled by the oil accumulating exterior.
I'll use that too.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? If you pitted that team against some of the teams we play in our league, how do you think it's fair? I know it's a bit of a silly question, but just have you any thoughts on that?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because we were talking about that on the way back, and we said we reckon they could give the bottom half of the table a good game. It would have to. I would say it would have to be on a decent pitch, and you'd need a referee that looked after them. Because the referee was quite good actually. One bloke went absolutely straight through the back of James, but he let play go on and then went back and booked him, for example. So the ref was quite good. They would need a ref that looked after them because of their physique, but technically they're just outstanding.
I'm going to say there's some great talent at that level, and the future's bright at Hastings.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you've got a lot of the first team players that are playing extremely well, and every game is a cup final this year. So getting their chances in the first team are quite limited, and they need to be playing men's football, and that's a problem to gain the experience, strengthen, and unfortunately, maybe the only way they're going to get that is to go out on loan, and it's to go on to lesser clubs, if you see what I mean, and they don't always learn their trade in the right way, if you see what I mean. That's the unfortunate you've got to think about it, and there's more than one or two, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think Bates showed that at Haywards Heath. He was a little bit out of his depth. When you play some of them clubs like that come to just want to beat up, if you like, Hastings, and try that, you can't bring the younger lads in at that level. And it's unfortunate because they've certainly got the talent. Their body just isn't quite ready for it yet. You know, it's and that's a shame. But
yeah, I think that's what Jordan was saying last week about himself, wasn't it? He was saying, he said, "I'm not built big enough yet. It's not as big as Dad yet. It will be."
yeah.
But you see with James and Tom Chalmers is a good example. Saturday, we'll talk about Saturday, but Saturday I thought physically he really stood up to it. And I think, you know, that when they get their chance, if they're good enough, they deal with the physical side of it. And Tom's beginning to do that as a good example. So it can be done if you've got the skills, and then you just, you know.
Well, yeah, and you're also given the opportunities.
Yeah,
and that's,
you need to build the resilience.
And I think they will be given the opportunities. It's just that it takes time. And even with Tom, it's taken time for him to get used to men's football and that physicality of it. And unfortunately, we're coming into the sharp end now where everybody that plays Hastings treat as a cup final. You know, and it's every game is a big game, and you can't always blood youngsters in at this time of the season, unfortunately. But there's a lot of talent at that level. I've seen them a few times, and there's some good boys there.
It's amazing how quickly they can come through. Look at Ollie Black. It's only a couple of years ago he was on the board, and now he's regular, isn't he? So
yeah.
And he doesn't throw with his hands. I had to. Sorry, I'll do it before John says it. So,
I was going to say that James has been on the bench and he's come on for a few times. And when Popey was out, he had a game in the cup, didn't he? And he's not looked out of his depth, has he?
No, not at all.
No. Holds the ball up. He finds his passes, and you know, but it's those opportunities, isn't it? With injuries and things like that, where you get a chance to really build up your experience at that level.
Yeah.
Well, just quickly ask you, Rob, 'cause I know we do need to move on a bit here, but Robert, like at the German sort of non-league level, I mean, are they giving youngsters a chance there, or is it sort of more of a veterans league at the level you're watching?
Well, that depends on your budget, basically. I mean, a team who has the ambition of getting promoted, they will be able to buy efficient strikers who can guarantee like 15 to 20 goals a season, and who've played a league or even two leagues above before. And teams with less budget, such as BONN, they have to field younger players simply because they don't have the budget. So it's good to develop a squad, but of course it's tough if you're in the relegation zone and you're lacking experience. Yeah.
So maybe Hastings could send a few players out to BONN now that we've got this hands across the channel.
Yeah, well, it would be good to see if they played each other. I would say Regional League West is about nationwide in England, maybe Division 2, something in between that from the level. Yeah, it would be very interesting to see how it goes.
Going to message Billy Wood later.
I can feel
friendly written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah, pre-season trip to Germany. All of us going over.
What?
Never come back.
Lederhosen on.
I've already done that. I've done that.
Robert, make it happen, mate. We'll make it happen this end. Right. Let's move on to an absolute fantastic away day. There was just so much about it. It was fantastic. I mean, from the start, when myself and Andy got there and we saw
when Gary came off the couch, what a moment that was.
What a moment. The genius of Gary. It was
just like an apparition in a black tracksuit, wasn't it?
If you want to talk about Robert, if you want to talk about language, English language, swearing, he came out, he greeted the stewards of of Ashford. Is he there? He's not there now, is he? Is he gone away, Gina?
He's watching Portsmouth.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, okay.
I can go and get him if you want.
Nah, it's all right. Go on. We're
He's
just
quiet
like,
in there.
yeah. But I mean, no. Well, start. Who should we start with? Let's start with you, Gina. Actually, I mean, what's your thoughts of what was just a tremendous away
I thought it was a good game.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it actually. Having to look after Gary after time though, chasing the stewards around. But yeah, apart from that,
I bet you didn't
trying to control him to leave his clothes on.
I bet you didn't.
I don't bet you.
Do
you do that all the time, Gina? Do you keep his clothes on, or is this? Come on, there's a bit of disclosure here. Come on, dear.
No, yeah, I keep his clothes on.
Yeah, all good.
So, but next time he said when we go away and they win, if they win, he's going to dress up as a woman.
Okay.
He's going to put a skirt on.
Is it going to be?
We're a rainbow club. There's no doubt about it.
Exactly. So,
I think he's going to do a different dress up every time.
Is it some taffeta, or what's he going to wear?
I ain't got a clue. He just told me just a minute ago. He went, next time I'm going to dress up as a woman. I was like,
make sure he doesn't get into your clothes, then, eh?
Yeah.
I might share, might be good.
No, we get what we got to all think about, Gina. Now is we've got to think about what do we want Gary? What sort of clothes do we want Gary dressed in? I think
something that covers him all up.
Oh,
Did you find
Gary Histed? Huh? Sorry.
His arguments with the stewards and
conversations, John.
No, but how could you make a serious point when you're wearing a mankini? My mind. Point, and then you look down, he's got this mankini.
Yeah, Robert, you'd have loved it, mate. If you it's proper stuff. Just
I think there's a picture somewhere.
Oh, was there really? I was desperate to find one. Gary,
I think it was. I think I mean all that sort of stuff. It was one of those days that was almost a literal definition of non-league football, wasn't it? The whole thing was just the match, the fans, everything about it. Even the bloody howling wind